Driven by purpose, fueled by passion. My words got power, my thoughts have action. Motivation, stay gracious. That's greatness. Be audacious. Motivation. Be audacious. Innovation. Be audacious. Inspiration. Be bold. Motivation. Be audacious.
Greetings, everyone. Happy New Year. Hope it is a good one for you. Welcome back to a special edition of the Audacious Living Podcast. I'm Audley Stephenson, and we closed out 2025. We stepped into 2026, and as we kind of went through that process, I thought I wanted to do something a little different. Not a recap, not a list of lessons learned, but something that's forward-looking, something intentional. So today we're going to share the most 5 audacious predictions for 2026. Now, these aren't hot takes for the sake of noise. They're grounded in data, lived experience, and real conversations I've had over the past year with a number of guests. And the reason why I want to do it this way is because audacity is in theory, it's lived. And as we go along, you will certainly hear some from voices from past episodes that will bring each prediction to life. So let's get into it. In 2026, more people will make bold career moves, not reckless ones, not impulsive ones, but intentional, curiosity-driven moves. We're already seeing it. Job mobility hasn't disappeared, it's evolved. People are no longer waiting to feel perfectly ready. They're learning as they move. And AI is accelerating that shift. With tools becoming more accessible, people are realizing they don't need permission to explore, experiment, or pivot.
A couple of years ago, I was given the opportunity to kind of step back in my career and say, okay, what do I want to be doing? As opposed to I was on kind of a path to continue to grow and have a really great trajectory, and ultimately made the decision to say, okay, I want to spend more of my time doing what I'm really interested in, which is helping people grow their career.
I never took a job that I was qualified for. It was always a job that I was curious and I thought would be interesting to do. And then I felt confident that I would be able to figure out sort of the baseline necessity of that.
I did reach a phase where the paycheck started to become not meaningless. Of course, we all need to pay our bills, but way less important than trying to work on my purpose. And for 20 years, Audley, I've got 4 kids. They're all in their 20s. That was my purpose.
That's not coincidence. That's a pattern. In 2026, curiosity will replace certainty as the most valuable career skill. The people who thrive won't be the ones with perfect plans. They'll be the ones brave enough to move while still figuring it out. The latter is disappearing. The future belongs to explorers. This one's big. In 2026, work-life balance stops being a perk and becomes a leadership requirement. Hybrid work, flexibility, and boundaries are no longer fringe ideas. They're expectations. But this isn't about doing less. It's about doing what matters sustainably.
And the other thing I found out was that he doesn't necessarily come into the office every day, where he used to be consumed with the hours he put in, weekends, nights, everything else. And now he's finally gotten to the point where he can relax, and now the like I said, the VP of engineering is now the COO. He basically runs the operations day to day, and the owner gets to come in or not if he wants. If he comes in at 11, goes to lunch, maybe leaves early.
Boundaries are a blessing. Boundaries are the things that actually gives you freedom. People think boundaries are a wall, a no, those bad things, but boundaries are the things that give you and everyone else around you the freedom of knowing when you're available, of showing up for yourself in addition to showing up for everyone else. So it's also saying yes. Yes to my morning routine every day is a boundary. Saying yes to my nighttime routine is a boundary. Saying yes to opportunities, as well as, even just having a simple outgoing email that says when you're available, it takes that guilt and expectation off when you put boundaries in place.
Living audaciously, I'd say it is living life on my terms. Okay. It's, the concept or if I look at my own life purpose, my life purpose is all about balance. Okay. Is helping and empowering humans for balance fulfillment.
The leaders who rise won't be the ones who burn themselves out. They'll be the ones who design lives that last. Because sustainability isn't weakness, it's strategy. In 2026, kindness stops being dismissed as soft. It becomes strategic. Data already shows that generosity, compassion, and community-minded behavior are rising. People are tired of hardness. They're craving humanity.
If kids were responding the way they were to the message of treat each other well, consider the potential of a friend rather than the possibility of an enemy. What would adults do in that same situation upon hearing that same information? Consider the possibility of a friend rather than the potential of an enemy. I mean, my gosh, how many problems would be solved that way?
And the world needs to be kinder to autistic adults, to neurodivergent people. But I think through that, we can learn to be kinder to everyone, right? And that's what I care about most deeply, is changing the conversation from what we don't have in common, the differences among us. I mean, especially in the United States. I know you're in Toronto. The atmosphere in the United States feels very mean right now. And to me, I'm always about shifting toward that place where we treat each other and care about each other with a really high degree of kindness and empathy.
I mean, compassion means to suffer with. It's the Latin form of suffer with. That's where the passion of the Christ comes, the suffering of the Christ. Empathy is from the Greek word pathos. Pathos means suffering. Empathos and sympathos, suffer with. That's, my goodness, like if you don't have compassion, empathy, and sympathy, I mean, there's no way you can grow without that.
Kindness isn't a weakness. It's courage in a world that's tired. In 2026, the leaders who stand won't be the loudest. They'll be the most human, because kindness builds trust, and trust builds everything else. In 2026, more people will tell their stories, not for fame, not for algorithms, but for meaning. Publishing is growing because people aren't waiting to be chosen anymore. They're choosing themselves.
We have been reading books for millennia.
Sure.
And I love podcasts. I think podcasts are really important and valuable. 20 years from now, I'm not sure what happens with the podcast. 10 years from now, I'm not sure what happens with it. But books seem to have lasted, and they'll outlast our lifetimes.
Well, things, right? Some people want to use it as a launch pad. Okay. Some people want to use it as an accelerator for their business. Some people just don't know, and they have a legacy requirement. Some people want to have a book as a part of their legacy, really understanding and passing that down to their children, grandchildren.
It's a story that's comfortable. It's been around for a long time, but it also has like other stories that are holding it into place as well. This is how I have a connection with my mother. This is how I feel a connection with my heritage, my grandmother, and it's who we are. There's a emotional connection to this story and the storyline, if you will. There are multiple stories that are there that it's hard to let go of.
This one's personal for me. As I continue working through my own book, which will be released later on this year, I'm realizing something. It's not about rushing to publish. It's about living the message long enough that it becomes real. In 2026, authorship won't be about attention. It'll be about intention. The question won't be, how big is your audience? It'll be, what do you stand for? And this last prediction brings everything together. In 2026, so success will no longer be defined by how busy you are, how visible you are, or how impressive your resume looks. It'll be defined by alignment.
I said that I'm going to get everything I wanted, and then I got it, and I'm not happy. I'm not successful. I'm not fulfilled, even though I was creating success, but I wasn't fulfilled. And the success was never enough. It had to go to the next level.
So many people hear success as power, fame, and money. And if you get a big enough bank account, enough power in your job, and enough fame, then you'll be happy. And invariably, that is actually a much harder road to hoe, is to hit that level of success and still feel empty.
Now I'm doing what I'm doing now from that area. So that's my encouragement to any leader. Look, you may be successful with the biggest bank account in the world, but sometimes the brand that you're building and who you are aren't the same thing. And you find yourself in a disconnect because now I've built this image, now I've built this place, but who I truly am is not that. And that can be stressful, because you got to keep putting on the show. Now we're in performance, not in the area of a present-centered living. And that's what I'm talking about.
For a long time, we were taught that success meant more money, more recognition, more applause. But in 2026, success becomes about coherence, about your inner life matching your outer life, about waking up and knowing the life you're living actually fits who you are. That's the shift. Audacity won't be louder, it'll be truer. And the bravest thing someone can say is, this is enough, this is me, and I'm living in alignment with what matters. So those are my 5 audacious predictions for 2026. Bold career moves fueled by curiosity, work-life balance as a leadership standard, kindness as a competitive advantage, the rise of the everyday author, and success redefined as alignment. Guys, audacity isn't disappearing, it's evolving. It's quieter, deeper, more human. And if you've ever felt like audacity wasn't meant for you, let me say this clearly. It is. It shows up in the big leaps and the small choices, in the career shifts and the kind moments, in books written and boundaries honored. Thank you for walking with me through 2025. Let's step into 2026 ready to live even more audaciously. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs a little courage heading into the new year. Until next time, I'm Audley Stephenson, and this is the Audacious Living Podcast. As always, I encourage you to live life audaciously.
Driven by purpose, fueled by passion. My words got power, my thoughts have action. Motivation, stay gracious. That's greatness. Be